happens, just because you're always thinking like, where are they, and having them be right next to you is always very funny. So right there, he made a little mistake. He moved his panda, and I saw it in the fog, and then I ran. So because if he had not done that and he had just stormed in, I probably would have had to burn a TP, and a lot of players there would probably just like twitch and burn their TP right away like he did earlier, because you don't really think that a player is going to, like, you think you're in danger because you're creeping, and being that that is a very strong creep camp, you think that you just can't run away, but you need to analyze the position of what's going on. At that point in time, those creeps had nothing disabling. He had just thrown his rock before I saw that panda, so I knew that he wasn't going to like rock golem my hero or something and I was going to die. I also knew that he had just crept that camp and was going to be running over. He had to run around that little nook to get to me, so I had a bit of time to run. The breakers are immune to frost, so if he had a lich in his army, it wouldn't have been a big deal. Like, obviously at the time he did not. So, like, there was no reason why I couldn't run. He had no actual disabling, and since they're immune to, most of my army is immune to magic that was towards the golems, he was unable to actually successfully do anything realistic to my, like, realistic damage to my army, so I was just able to run. So it's at this point where I'm realizing that I'm going to have a very hard time doing anything edgewise, and I just get into a fight because I need to lose some griffins. And here I go, focusing his DK. Almost killing it, but he pops the TP right at the last second. You can see how level 3 bolt really played a huge factor there. I was able to kill a statue, which is one of the first things you want to focus down with the griffins. Really important to just keep consistently focusing like their heroes, and just focusing heroes until you either make them TP or successfully push them into a position where it's like they don't have like they have no reasonable answer to you except to TP or to kill your heroes. So my heroes were actually in very good shape. I really didn't kill much that battle, and I killed a few griffins and I made him burn a TP. His army is actually vastly superior to mine right now, so I'm not in a very good position to like be sassy with him and be like, oh well, I'm just gonna push you around the map. So at this point I'm figuring I can't attack his expo. I can't really like attack his main. I can't fight with him. So if I can just sneak an expo up here and he doesn't scout it, maybe I'll be in really good shape. I don't even know if he saw me kill that ghoul. That might have been a really crucial thing here, because he doesn't go up here to look. It just sort of happens. It's at this point in the game where I realize that I have a chance after losing that battle. It's actually not that bad losing all those griffins, because I've had an expo and like I can recover because I have a bunch of gold, and I'm going to hard counter his gargoyles now anyway, and it was probably a mistake to go griffins that hard in the first place, but yeah, it's like, it's not the end of the world when that happens in this case, just because there's virtually no way he can just like crush me now because I have towers. So I have time to rebuild, and we both creep these red camps, and it works out great. For some reason I'm not expoing, but that's Joseki for you. Creeping out this golem, I think I was just like watching myself creep this golem because I didn't want to like lose a hero. Like, that golem does like infinite damage, so I was extremely worried. So if you look now, I have 3/2 breakers, which do 16 to 24 damage, which is like way better than like 13 to 16 damage or whatever they do. So like, their former maximum damage is now their minimum damage, and that, in addition to mana burn on heroes, is actually going to play a huge role into how I actually win this game. Here come my tanks. Tanks versus Gargs are kind of a joke, because since they do piercing damage and it's AoE and there's like infinite Gargs, you end up in a position where it's like their Gargs can't even fight you. Like, they're just stuck not doing anything. And also, after you wipe the floor with their Gargs, you can just attack their base with your tanks. So as you can see, their Gargs are like at half HP already, and he really has no choice but to run his Gargs away. And they're just all getting like completely raped. And I ended up losing my AM, which is probably bad. I should have been paying attention. I was actually just too thoroughly enjoying all the gargoyles getting destroyed. However, I am able to continue this fight just with bolt focusing. I don't really have anything that's like good enough to really like force him out of like my area. Like all I can really do is send right at this point. All I figured I could really do is just send my tanks at his expo, because he will not have prepared meat wagons this early, was my thought. And because I'd already wasted all his Gargs, there just seemed like no conceivable way like he was actually going to successfully get away with anything. And as you can see, breakers do like insane damage versus fiends, and having divine shield is imba. You know, another thing like that's like really important about how I'm playing this game right now is MK Paladin is like absurd difficult to kill. So if you just crutch on the fact that they're not going to be able to kill their heroes and just stall them up on this like army of breakers that they can't do damage to except by attacking, and like this retarded MK Pally combo, like there's not really anything they can do like within reality to actually stop you. And because of that fight, my expo got up 100% safe, and it was actually like the perfect time to fight for me. Like he didn't really realize it at the time, obviously, but it was ideal, just purely ideal there. At this point in the game, I am conscious of the fact that he is probably expoing in the lower right corner of the game. I just really didn't feel like there was anything I could essentially do about it, and taking out this expo seemed a lot more important than, like, I don't know. It just seemed a lot better at the time, because, like, I figured if I could just, like, do a lot of damage to this expo, then it would be, like, the same thing, but it probably would have been better to just prevent his one expo. Oh, and I think I lose my hero here because I'm an idiot. Yep, okay. And then losing that was probably terrible. And now I just run away. And if you look, he doesn't have Gargs anymore. So there's at some point, very soon, I realize, wait, I can win this match because I can go Griffins again. And Griffin Breakers pretty much ownage because he has no destroyers, and it basically counters his entire army. Because, you know, while Breakers, people always think of them as like the anti-magic unit, they're actually very, very good against Fiends. Just because if you look at the damage armor types, you know, like very elementary things that a lot of people forget about, Fiends are medium armor, and Breakers, you know, voila, they do normal attack. So they do extra damage against medium. And when they're 3-0, you can just look at like one Breaker attacking a Fiend, it's like 10 shots. Like a wave of like Breaker fire on a Fiend can kill it, like relatively easily. So it's extremely important that like people are aware of the fact that you know, unit counters still exist even if the unit has a different intended purpose. Breakers are still very good versus Fiends for damage armor type reasoning. So here, you know, I'm kind of in a last hurrah. I don't really know how I pull this out. I'm kind of thinking like, man, is it even conceivably possible to win this match? But, you know, he has a 5-5 and a 3 Lich. Really, all I can do is attack his A-bombs here, and he's attacking my expo. You know, things are just not looking up. So, it's sometime. I have been building Griffins for a while, and I'm mostly stalling for time. I can't fight his army, like, army for army right now. I can really only buy time for my expo. With that in mind, having my Paladin just, like, healing and my MK running around bolting, really, he can't, like, continually attack my expo, because he's going to lose units. Losing units for not killing an expo is a terrible trade, because you're not gaining anything, for obviously. Once these Griffins are out, it actually applies a lot of pressure to the undead, in that he won't be able to really, like, he won't really have any real ability to just, like, use abominations against me well. He's basically stuck in a position where all he has is, this panda, and now he doesn't even have an army. Like, see what happens, like, as soon as he loses those couple units, it's over. And he doesn't have a TP in his DK, and one bolt surround just turns the game around right there. Like, the game was still in his favor had he not lost his DK right there, but sloppy mistake, and there you go. So now the game is pretty much uphill for me, simply because, like, while he does have, like, you know, another base, he's still working on investing the resources into keeping it safe, and I'm investing all of my resources into Griffins, so that just essentially makes it like a complete joke for me to set up my to like just crushes Expo.